Hi, everyone. It's Congressman Jamie Raskin coming at you from Maryland's beautiful 8th Congressional District for my favorite time of the week, Local Hero, when we get to celebrate the people that make life in our community so rich. And do I have a sensational local hero for you to mark the close of Women's History Month? It is Pat Lawson Muse, who everybody will know has been the anchor on News 4 at 4 p.m. on weekdays with Leon Harris and host of News 4 on Sundays. She has been working in TV for 40 years in our community, and this marks the melancholy, bittersweet moment of her retirement. And I think today might even be her last day at the close of Women's History Month. But Pat, first of all, congratulations to you on being our local hero, and thank you for 4 decades of splendid service to the people of our community.
Thank you so much, Jamie. What an honor, what a privilege. And how humbling it is to be able to do this with you. I'm certainly not a local hero, but I have been here for quite a long time. And actually, my career spans more than 40 years because I actually began my career in radio and was in radio for about 5 years before I began my television career in Baltimore at WBAL TV in that city. And then I came back to NBC4 in 1982, where I had worked as a researcher in the consumer unit in my last year of college at Howard University. When the unit that I was working in disbanded in the spring of 1977, I went to the Human Resources department head and said, hey, I want a full-time job. And she said, honey, go away and get about 5 years of professional experience and then come back and talk to us. So I did.
Well, and you made some women's history, and I think it was 1984 with Barbara Harrison when the two of you became the first on-air all-female news team in the country in American history. Is that right?
That's right. In broadcast history, Barbara and I got the assignment to do what was called the noon show here on WRC TV, which is NBC4 TV. And they teamed us up. And unbeknownst to us, there were no all-female TV news teams in the country, either on network or local TV. We got a call from Karen Kalish with Entertainment Tonight. And she said, hey, did you guys know you've made history? And they did a story on us. And that's how we found out that we had broken that barrier.
Well, that's extraordinary. I mean, it's like the first time that women didn't need a male chaperone to be on TV by themselves, giving everybody the news.
Yeah.
Well, but you've become such a fixture and such a beloved quantity in our community. And I know you've been through so much stuff from, geez, I mean, you go back to 9/11, you go back to Watergate, the Vietnam period, all the way through January 6th and all of the divisions in the country today. And I wonder if it's, the occasion of your retirement has made you reflective about all the times you've seen.
In fact, it has. I sat at my desk yesterday and thought about one of my first biggest assignments here at NBC4, 1984, when Walter Mondale was nominated for president and Geraldine Ferraro was the first woman to be nominated as vice president by a major political party in the country. That was a big deal. And I was so proud to be able to go to represent our station and to cover the Democratic National Convention in San Francisco. After that convention was over, unfortunately, I covered my first mass shooting, which took place at a McDonald's in San Ysidro, California. And that was in a day when it wasn't quite so common. So that has stood out in my mind. But over the years, some of the biggest stories, I think, in the world have happened. Of course, you mentioned 9/11. There was the Gulf War. I'll never forget the parade of our troops during Operation Desert Storm, marching down Pennsylvania Avenue, something that we seldom have ever seen here in the nation's capital. I got a chance to meet people that I've always idolized and admired, like Bishop Desmond Tutu. I remember when Bill Clinton was running for the Democratic nomination, and it was at the Mayflower Hotel. It was some kind of fundraiser, and I remember going up to him and calling him the wrong name. And he was so gracious. He looked down and he smiled as if to say, oh, honey, it's okay. I understand. to cover Barack Obama's, elevation to the presidency, and twice to have elected twice, to be able to cover that, to be on the air when he and the First Lady walked up the stairs of the executive mansion. Just moments that you can't imagine you'd ever cover. Moments that meant so much to me and that will forever be with me in my career. Those are the big moments, the national stories, but they're all of the local stories and the people that we see at the supermarket and at the hair salons and the barbershops every day, our friends and our neighbors who are our viewers. And it's those people that we're able to connect with in this great big community. They're the ones that we see on a regular basis, and we cover their issues and their interests, and that means everything, especially in local news, which is still so very important with so many newspapers closing across the country, an average of about 2 per week in the nation. So local news is still very important, and I'm so proud to have been able to work in local news here in the most important city in the world, in Washington, D.C. for so long.
Well, and you've won all kinds of national awards. You are the recipient of Emmy Awards, of Best Anchor Awards. But to us, you really have been a local treasure in that so many people have turned to you to understand what's going on and to look at the interface of these national stories and what they mean locally to us.
Yeah, and that's what's been so great about doing the kind of work that we do, and what's so great about our close contact with the community that we serve. For at least 3 decades, I have done the station's community affairs programming, where we've gotten a chance to talk about the issues that are most important to the folks who live and work here in the Washington area, their families, their children's education, healthcare, their safety, what's happening on their streets, their faith, all of the issues that make the foundation of the quality of their lives. In 1984, which seems to have been a banner year for me, the station began collecting food to feed local families at Thanksgiving. And I happened to get the assignment, I believe, that year. And for some reason, every year since then, since 1984, I've been the face of our Food for Families campaign here in Washington for NBC4. With the help of our viewers and our community partners, we fed tens of thousands of people, senior citizens, needy families, veterans, and others who just need a little help at Thanksgiving. It's our way of saying we care about you, and not just about feeding you the news, but being good neighbors. And so I'm very proud of that as well.
Give us a sense, if you would, about what the future holds for you. I hope you're staying here. I know you're married to the great Reverend and Senator Anthony Muse, my friend from Annapolis. But what will the next years and decades hold?
Well, it's a big surprise. I'm not sure. The first thing I'm going to do is a little self-care and some traveling, and then work on some new projects. I'm excited about the chance to take a long nap early in the morning and not get up and tackle traffic.
Well, thank you for being our local hero. Thank you for being such an important part of women's history in our community. And thank you for your many decades of service to us.
Thank you, Jamie.